Hello guys, I'm back and you probably wonder where I was gone. I actually spent the whole summer trying to master the operation of this wonderful machine, which is called the Tecnam P2002 Juliet Foxtrot, the single-engine piston aircraft by the Italian manufacturer. Currently it is in a condition in which we find it every morning when we come to the airfield. It's cold, it hasn't run for at least the past 12 hours. So we need to do what is called a pre-flight inspection on it, and I'll try to demonstrate it. So let's take the keys and open the canopy. We open up the canopy like that, take the keys, and it's open. Next thing we do is grab the checklist. We usually do the pre-flight inspection from our memory, but for demonstration purposes, and as we do in the beginning when we are training to do it, I will do it from the checklist. So we'll start the walk around from the cabin. First thing we check is that our parking brake is on. Next thing, flight manual and aircraft documents. So we grab this little thingy. We can sew away the keys, and we check that we have all the appropriate documents and the flight manual on board. Flight manual looks like that. And as for documents, we have to have airworthiness certificate, insurance, everything we can find here. Next thing we check is weight and balance. If it is within predetermined limits. To check that, we can take a look at our weight and balance sheet. Actually, I'm pretty sure that it is within balance limits because we have no baggage at all and I will be the only person flying. But should we have any different configurations from that, we can always check the sheet. Then, what we do is check that our magnetos are off and the key is out. We turn on the master, the battery, and now we have to check that we have enough voltage for a battery, which is currently indicating 12.3 volts. The other thing is our ammeter, that it's in the red. It means that the battery is discharging. Next thing we check is fuel quantity, that we have almost full tanks, and we check that the fuel selector valve is in left or right. I'll put it into the left. Next thing we do is we will check the lights, and to do that I'll go to the other side of the cabin so as to reach the buttons easier. We turn on the landing lights and we check that they're on. They're on. We can now turn them off so as to preserve our battery. Next thing we check is the navigation and strobe lights on the ends of our wings. So I check the right wing. We have a green light and a flashing strobe. And then I'll check the left wing. We have a flashing strobe and the light is red. The next thing to do is our trailing edge of the aircraft navigation light. It's white and it's on. The light check has been complete, and now I will turn off the lights and check that our stall warning indicator is working. You can hear the loud beep. It indicates that it is. And our cabin checklist is basically complete. The only few things left are the baggage, that it's stowed and secured. To do that, I will stow away the documents I checked earlier, put them back behind the belts, and we're good on that. The seat belts, I will adjust them later. And that we have our brake fluid. The level is much higher than we need. cabin checklist is complete. I will turn off the battery and start doing the external walk around. Okay, I'll begin the external walk around from the left-hand wheel. We check that it's firm, the tire pressure is okay, all the bolts are in place. And we check that our leading edge is all good, in a good condition, all the rivets are in place. Then we confirm that the general condition of the upper surface and the lower surface is okay. And after doing that, we'll check that our fuel filler cap is firm in its place. We remove our pitot cover and continue going along the wing, checking the lights, then checking the ailerons, the flaps, that they look okay from both sides, no rivets are missing. And after that, we continue along the fuselage, again checking for general condition. Everything seems to be okay from where I'm looking. We check the stabilator, that there's no play, everything is in its place. We check our rudder. Continuing to the right side, check our antennas, general condition of the fuselage, and absolutely the same on the right-hand wing. Condition is okay, no cracks, all rivets are in place. Light is just fine, and same for the leading edge. And the last thing on our right wing is the tire. Again, everything looks perfectly normal. After that, we continue on the engine area and oil. Again, we check that the parking brake is off, that the magnetos are off, the master switch is off, and that the throttle is fully idle. Now I can stow away the pitot cover, put the checklist, and we will open the engine cowlings. We do that for the both sides. And as with the whole aircraft, we check that everything is in its place. There are no leaks and no rivets or bolts are missing. We do that for the other side too. Check that everything is closed and in a good condition. After confirming that the engine is in a good condition, we will now check the oil. I'll open the filler cap, put it away, and what do I have to do now is turn the propeller until the engine speaks to us, and you'll definitely hear a loud burp. Not very nice of it, but so turn the propeller. Requires a little bit of force. And we could hear the burp. We can now check the engine oil. I'll take some piece of wiping paper. I will remove this rod, and as you can see, we have the oil amount is between the minimum and maximum, so that is perfectly fine. We can clean that up and put it back where it belongs. I close the filler cap and the oil is checked. Then is check the general condition of our front of the aircraft, that all of the vents, radiators are clean, not clogged up, and that there are no cracks, all the bolts are in place. Same for the front wheel, of course. Lastly, now I'll check that our propeller is clean, that it has no dents, and basically the whole walk around is complete. I will close the cowlings. On both sides. And all what's left is to push the aircraft out and fly. Finally, in the warm cabin, I can grab my checklist and start preparing for the engine start. So the first item is seat belts. I will adjust them. And having adjusted the seat belts, I will now close the canopy. Having closed the canopy, I will check the flight controls, that they are free, don't get stuck anywhere. So, flight controls are checked. We will now check that our parking brake is on. Fuel is selected on the left tank. Then we continue turning on the battery, the master switch. We select the electrical fuel pump on, we can hear the sound and we observe the fuel pressure rising. Then we select the choke, because the engine is cold, we need the full help of it. Throttle, friction adjusted, and it's on idle. Strobe light, it's flashing, and the circuit breakers are all checked. Next thing, we shout out clear prop and we start the engine. Clear prop! The engine has been started. We turn off the choke, generator on, oil pressure has risen, fuel pressure okay, fuel pump off. We keep 1100 RPM, observe all the instruments, and we can continue with the checklist. So all pressure has been checked, engine instruments checked, RPM is okay, generator has been switched on, pump off, pressure checked, and choke is off. And the next part is before taxi. So the engine is warming up. We can select the avionics master on, navigation lights on, radio on, and I think you should finally hear me clearly. We turn on the transponder, set the GPS, and set go to 2000 transponder. We set the altimeter to QFE, the pressure, which will indicate 0